Hey everyone, Mr. Couture here. Today we're going to be making clay pinch pot vases. Here we go! Okay, so materials, we have water, we have our tools, and we have our clay. So what you want to do is rip a piece off to the side, smaller piece, and now we're going to make a ball. And we're going to cut that in half so that we have two equal pieces of clay. And make that into a ball. I already made it into one, so you can pause it. And we're going to make a pinch pot. So you're going to push your thumb in the center and rotate it with your fingers pinching, almost like an alligator. So you're using 2 to 3 fingers on one side and your thumb, keep going deeper, spinning it around. And you want to make it about the thickness no thinner than your pinky, and between your pinky and index finger. So you want to have it some thickness but not too thin. And someone was asking in the comments, what clay do we use? So we're using normal clay that you buy from an art store or online. That's called earthware or stoneware, and you can put this in the kiln. So if you don't have a kiln, you can go to a place locally and they can fire it in the kiln for you. But if you're at home and you don't have all of that stuff, you can buy, it's called air dry clay, and a lot of times it's like Mexican air dry clay, so you can kind of make it yourself and let it dry at home. So notice what I did there. We put it on the table to flatten the top, and you also can flatten the bottom by pushing lightly or dropping it very lightly, like a 1/2 inch. And that makes it really nice and flat. Now we're going to do this thing called score and slip. So we're going to make with our tool, you can get a knife and make little cuts, little slices, almost like tic-tac-toe or X's. In drawing, we call it hatching. And we're going to do the same to the other one. And we're going to add a little slip or water. Slip is kind of like water and the clay mixed together like a mud, but we're just going to add water. That'll do the trick. And then we're going to line it up and push it together. Notice we push it together, and we're going to blend it with our finger. We can also try to roll it a little bit. And let's get a tool to blend it. So you can make actually a really thin coil, so long like snake, and put it on this crack all the way around, and that can act as a little bit of extra clay, and that will make it look more uniform. But for this, we just decided to skip that step and just blend it with a tool. So you can do that this way as well. So we're going to blend it with the tool, and if it's too dry, you can add a little water around here to make it a little easier to move. Then we're going to try to maybe use our hand if we want to. And then we can also roll it very lightly. This is the very good key part. It's cracking a little bit. So I'm going to go back over, refill that, and roll very lightly. This is a really good part, a key part. This makes it nice and smooth. And going back through, making sure There's no other holes. Add a little water and roll it a little bit more. It's all about refining it. Okay, now what we're gonna do is rip a piece off with our extra clay. And ideally, if you have a little bit more of extra clay, you can make some additional things like more handles or a longer neck. Right now, we're gonna rip a piece off. We're gonna make a coil. So notice how we put it up at the top and then pull it down. That makes the coil nice and even. Put it at the top, pull it down. So we're gonna make it about our pinky or a little thinner. If you make it any thinner, you have to be careful that it won't be too fragile. All right, now we're gonna carve a hole in the top. So you can poke a pencil through the hole, or you can use a cutting knife. The carving special clay knife to cut. And we're gonna make sure we don't lose the clay inside. So we're gonna slowly carve. Now you can make your hole really small or medium, kind of like ours, or maybe even larger, depending on what you wanna do. Now remember, if you don't do this part, it will make a humongous air bubble in there because you already have an air bubble, and it will blow up in the kiln. So it'll make an explosion, not like a dynamite, but more of a combustion that will crack your piece and make a little pop sound, and it could also mess up other people's clay that are in the kiln. So you definitely don't want to have a hole. Now, if you have a too small of hole and then it accidentally closes up, then it will blow up, right? So you want to make sure it is big enough that it won't close while you're making it. I would say at least the size of a pencil thickness. This is a lot thicker. This is about an inch of a hole. All right, so we just made a coil, we did scoring, and now we're gonna add another coil on the top. And let's cut a little piece to make it more even. Let's do some scoring again. And this is gonna be a neck. It's called a neck on the top of the vase. There's also another way to do this. And you kind of make a pancake and you roll it on a pencil. And then you take the pencil off and then you can cut the sides, and then it'll be a perfect neck. But that one will be skinnier depending on how thick. Like if you do a pencil, it's going to be pretty thin. So I prefer doing this way, coils, because then you can do any size you want. But that way is also really nice. Okay, now we're gonna pinch the sides and make it stick. Remember, you wanna always, of course, score and add water, but you also want to push it a little bit to add pressure to make it stick. You also wanna sometimes use a tool like this called blending and making it smooth and mixing the clay kind of together. That makes it stronger. And we can also pinch it a little bit to make the walls a little thinner and make it a little higher. Now, if you want and you have extra clay, you can keep making your neck go up higher. We're going to smooth out the top, the lip, make it nice and clean. Now we're going to make another coil with our extra clay. And we're going to attach the coil right here. Now make sure the coil is kind of flat on each side so it can stick easier. So see, we're going to cut the ends off on the angle that we want it. And this way it will stick a lot better. We're going to remember to score it if you want it to stick and not fall off. Add some water or slip on there. And then we're going to measure where we want it. So then we can do the bottom part. We're going to score it, add some slip water. And don't forget to always score the other side as well. Now, all of our clay videos, we're going to try to fire in the kiln, as well as paint and do a Mod Podge on top. It's kind of like a glaze. So I will keep you guys posted. I probably will post that as a community story of our finished pieces. All right, so we stuck it together and then we blended it with our tool to make it smooth and make it look like it's attached, but also this makes it stronger. And of course, you don't want to ever grab it like the handle like you would, because it would just rip off. We have to put in the kiln. Then when it fires and gets hard, then you can probably, if you make it strong enough, you'll be able to pick it up by the handle. So as long as the handle is thick enough and you don't want to make it any thinner than this, and as well as sticking it correctly the way we did to our pinch pot vase. And we decided to put a little extra clay there because we thought needed more support. Now at this time, you guys can add more handles. You guys can carve. You guys can cut out a piece and make like a heart, make a diamond, make a random object or shape. Awesome. I can't wait to see what you guys will do. Also, guys, put in the comments what you all would like me to do next and any questions about any part of the video. Thank you all so much. Remember to like and subscribe. I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.